Well, that same Bill Barr was Trump's guy, and he was overseeing the process that led to Jeffrey Epstein being killed, but he also shut down the investigation of Jeffrey Epstein's Zorro Ranch in New Mexico. So the German defense minister, Boris Pistorius, just said, this is not our war, we did not start it. Donald Trump yesterday tweeted out or posted on his failing Nazi-infested social media site that he was requesting essentially that a bunch of other countries, including France and Germany and England and China and Taiwan, or whatever. I don't have the list right in front of me, but demanding that a bunch of countries come to the Persian Gulf and help out, right? And it ain't happening. The Prime Minister, the British Prime Minister, says words to the effect of basically, we're not going to get dragged into a larger war. The German Prime Minister, this is not our war, we did not start it. The cheese stands alone. Here we are, all by ourselves. And, Trump should just declare victory and come home. And I realize that even with that, there will be consequences. The guy who's now running Iran, we just murdered in his mind, his father, his mother, his wife, apparently one of his kids, one of his brothers. I mean, if you were the leader of a country and that had happened to you, would you be favorably inclined to just let the killers get away with it, as it were? I'm fully expecting Iranian proxy attacks in the United States. And I'm fully expecting Donald Trump to exploit them the way that George W. Bush did 9/11 and the way that Adolf Hitler did the Reichstag fire. I mean, this is an old trope. Meanwhile, 6 years later, you recall Bill Barr shut down the investigation into the Zorro Ranch. Zorro Ranch was this 6,000 square mile or maybe it's square kilometers facility, or this massive ranch that Jeffrey Epstein had in New Mexico, where he was continually building stuff there, and apparently, according to some reports, there are the bodies of a couple of Eastern European women who he had imported as sex slaves, essentially, who died during rough sex, buried underneath some of these buildings. And a fellow by the name of Don Blaine Huffings bought this. He is a Republican, a wealthy Republican, is running for Texas comptroller right now. He owns the property, and as soon as he bought it a couple of years ago, he started digging it up with backhoes. Nobody knows why or what he was doing or what he was disposing of, or God only knows. But he's kind of in the middle of this now. And but back in the day, in the first Trump administration, when this first came up, when they were starting to look into Jeffrey Epstein, they arrested him while Donald Trump was president. They killed him, in my opinion, while Donald Trump was president. And you'll have to convince me Trump didn't have something to do with that. But Bill Barr was actually the guy who was overseeing the Justice Department at that time. This is the same Bill Barr who, back in 1992, when the Department of Justice was subpoenaing people about the Iran-Contra thing and about whether the Reagan administration, the Reagan campaign, which George Herbert Walker Bush was part of, had cut a deal with the Ayatollah to hang on to the hostages. We now know that they did. This was being investigated by Congress. And several people, including Caspar Weinberger, had been subpoenaed. And they were going to blow the whistle, basically, on Reagan and the Republicans. And Bill Barr was the Attorney General at that time, and he advised George Herbert Walker Bush to simply pardon everybody, to shut down the investigation. And on Christmas Eve, 1992, and you can see this in the screaming headline across the top of the New York Times for that date. If you are a Times subscriber, you can see it in the Times, they call it the Time Machine. Bill Barr's advice was taken by Reagan, and they pardoned everybody. And by Bush, and George W. Bush did not have to face questioning and neither did any of the people involved, and Bush basically got away with it. Well, that same Bill Barr was Trump's guy, and he was overseeing the process that led to Jeffrey Epstein being killed, but he also shut down the investigation of Jeffrey Epstein's Zorro Ranch in New Mexico. Bill Barr ordered it not to be searched. So here your Department of Justice has credible evidence that this guy who has been convicted of sex trafficking with minors, that credible evidence that he killed a couple of women and buried their bodies on the site, and he says, stop, and just shuts down the FBI investigation during the last Trump administration. So Bill Barr is gone now, but it's now owned by this guy, Don Huffines, F-U-F-F-I-N-E-S. I'm not sure exactly how he pronounces his name, but that sounds reasonable. The guy is so MAGA that he's been attacking the Texas Department of Child and Family Services for being too woke. Right. He wrote a bill to end vehicle safety inspections. Yeah, let's all drive on streets where there's cars that don't have brakes that work. Amazing. And now he's running to be comptroller of Texas. So keep an eye on this one. I think that, and I keep thinking that I need to be writing about Bill Barr because he keeps popping up. I mean, his legacy is like everywhere. And finally, on September 9th, 2024, Charisse Doyley was in her 12th hour of contractions at University of Florida Hospital in downtown Jacksonville, when a nurse came into her room in the obstetrics ward with a tablet and said, cover yourself, a judge wants to talk to you. She hadn't asked for the hearing. The hospital had asked for it. And she had no lawyer, no advocate. Now, this is a woman who is a professional birthing doula. She is familiar with the birthing process. She helps women who are giving birth. This is what she does for a living. She knows what she's doing. She knows what she's talking about. And this was her 4th pregnancy. And she wanted to have a vaginal birth, a normal birth. But because she had had C-sections in the past, apparently one of her doctors decided that he was concerned about this, and his judgment overruled her judgment. And because she was pregnant in Florida, she basically has no rights. If you are a woman in Florida who is pregnant, you are treated by the law in Florida as if you were either a child or a person who has been declared non-compos mentis, in other words, not mentally competent. And the judge listened to the doctor and listened to her and said that he would decide. She would not decide. This is the result, by the way, of these fetal personhood bills. Nearly 30 states have passed laws that allow hospitals to invalidate pregnant patients' advance directives. This is basically happening in every Republican state, saying, women, once you become pregnant, the baby is more important than you. That's it. Women have, in Republican-controlled states, in red states, and this is an amazing piece of deep dive investigative reporting that ProPublica is reporting over at ProPublica.org. And I encourage you to check it out. She ultimately was forced by the court to have that C-section. And they've got a whole bunch of other examples of this. But, this is the Republican thing, that we need to live in a country where white men are in charge, women are subordinate to them, blacks and Hispanics are subordinate to the white men, and, if you don't like it, we're not going to let you vote. It's just that simple. It's the Confederacy, it's the old Confederacy rising again. I don't know how else to describe it. What say you?